Now,
Yeah.
so you're back there, you're in LA, and I go to LA, and I'm there for a few years. Richard's there. You're living with George Clooney. I'm curious where you and George got together. You invited
George
me.
was living with me.
Well, George was living, that's right. And so you invite me to a Super Bowl party. It's like 85 or something like that. And there's George. He's with Kelly Preston. They're cuddling on the couch.
Okay, that was
and we got to know each other a little bit. A few weeks later, I find myself at a birthday party. You're probably there, and George is there, and he remembered me. And he wasn't anybody then. Maybe he was doing Roseanne.
He was
and he said, "Hey, Kroger, how you doing?" I go, "Well, I got some auditions. How you doing, George?" And George said, I got some stuff, but he said, my range is B to B minus. That was his self-deprecating.
So, Richard, how did you meet George and become roommates?
What'd you say?
What is the story behind you and George meeting and becoming roommates?
First of all, my funny line is I knew George for so long. I knew him before he was a good actor. I knew him when he was a young actor. This is years before he was a good actor.
Right.
He and I were cast. Okay, I will tell you. He came to second. He was doing a show in Chicago called Vicious, based on Sid Vicious. And he came to Second City one night with his cast. He came on a Saturday night. Now, I'm on stage for 2.5 hours. He's looking at me. I don't know who's in the audience, and he certainly wasn't George Clooney then. So I don't see him. And then they come backstage, and we talk and everything like that, and we meet him. And we went out for drinks. I went out for drinks with him. And I remember going out for drinks with him and playing pool. But if you asked me who he was, he could knock me on, down in the street. I wouldn't know who the hell he was.
Mm-hmm.
About a year later, I get cast in a pilot. Gary, do you remember this name? Tom Bird?
Oh, yeah.
You remember that name?
Yeah.
Because I bet you went up against him on a lot of stuff.
Well, he was taller and more like, Tom Brady than me.
Yes, he was a real leading man.
Good-looking guy.
Yes. He gets cast in a pilot. They bring me in. I get cast opposite him as his brother, and I wipe the stage with him. He can't keep up with me.
Was that the Elvis-y kind of thing where he was a singer?
No.
Wasn't he a singer? No,
that was it was a thing called the Bennett Brothers. Okay. It was written by a guy named Lloyd Garver, and who's he? What's from? The guy. He was a brilliant guy. God!
I need more information.
NBC head. He was below.
Brandon Tartikoff?
He was Tartikoff. This was Tartikoff's idea, and he asked Lloyd Garver to write it. Tom was cast, and then I was cast. Tom couldn't keep up with me and was fired. They needed somebody. On Friday afternoon, he gets fired. I get a call that George Clooney, who I don't know, is going to come in and take his place. George was in Kentucky at his sister's wedding, flies in Sunday night, Monday morning. He comes in with open arms because, Rich, remember?
Right. Yeah.
And I didn't know who he was.
Wow.
And he reminds me who he was. And okay, yeah, but I didn't remember it all. But we hit it off. We became very good friends because we had a bond, which was, let's make this pilot great. We were brothers. And, when you work on set, you hear about on-set romances, and then they become marriages, and then they break up. Ours became a marriage, but we were friends, and we didn't break up. Our politics were the same. Our love of film was the same. Our senses of humor were the same, and we bonded on trying to make this show the best, and we really became very dear friends. Needless to say, he is a superior man.
So at what stage did it become, hey, let's move in together?
When he got divorced.
And he had the pig, right? The potbelly pig?
No. He got divorced from Talia Balsam.
Yeah.
And
so this was like the Odd Couple situation.
It really was. To be honest, well, why would it be the Odd Couple? How do you know I'm clean or dirty? How do you know?
I meant only as far as the opening. The opening of the Odd Couple starts with Felix getting thrown out of his house.
Yeah, but I lived.
And knocks it. That was the only similarity I was drawing.
Okay, yes. So he left his wife. He needed a place to stay. And he stayed with me for a couple of months, and it was great. And that's where the famous cat litter story came from, and stuff like that. And
which is 100% true.
100. Well, 98% true. I never took the cat to the vet.
That's a big part. That's a big part.
I know, it's very funny. And the cat did not, but the cat did not go to the bathroom, and I kept wondering what's going on. I was worried about him, and then one day it was a big shit in the cat litter box. But his telling of the story is hilarious, and believe that.
When I looked up, when I was looking up, just to check out, on your interviews and things that you've done, when you go to YouTube, there's like, immediately everything says the cat story, the cat story, the cat story. So it tells the cat story, cat story. I tell anybody who's going to be listening now, just go online and put in the cat story.
It's been on Leno. He tells it all over.
Yeah.
Right. And
he tells it magnificently.
Yes, he tells the cat story well.
One thing about George is he at a table. I've seen Don Rickles do this, where he makes each person seem special, as if he's telling them the story or he's talking directly to them. George can do the same thing. And for somebody who you should be kowtowing to because he is a star, because he's so smart, because he's so gracious, instead he makes sure that you are. That's how gracious a man he is.
Well, he was best man at your wedding. I was there.
He was best man at my wedding, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but not because he was famous or he was my best friend.
He was right. Yeah.
I love George. I am more than in the past years. I've realized I have been, and I'm not just talking about the $1 million thing. I have been the recipient of a greater portion of the friendship. I think I'm a great friend to him, of course, and I am a good and loyal friend. But the advice he's given, the friendship, hearing him talk, he is in on things that I'm not privy to, and he includes me in on them, and it's fascinating, and I just love being his friend.
He's amazing to watch. He doesn't make many missteps.